welcome back to today's coverage of Starladder Season 10 European Group Stages. I'm Zyori, joined once again by David Parker, and we've got a couple of good ones coming up for you guys to wrap up our coverage. We had a long break, but here we are faced with the battle of Cloud9's survival in the group stage and their chance for the top four. Cloud9 versus Fnatic, followed by Cloud9 versus Secret. David Parker, this is do or die for Cloud9.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Fnatic have not played too many European games, but yeah, looking at Cloud9, they've been going through a lot of their games. And how many losses are they on at the moment? Four or five?
Let's take a look at the grid. I believe it's 5, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're currently 8-5. So they have actually the most games played, tied with Na'Vi, and 5 losses, as we've talked about. That's still a chance in kind of a tie-break scenario. Might be able to make a run for that bottom 4, bottom 3 spot. But 6 losses, that is nigh impossible, I think.
So that makes these their last 2 Starladder games. So yeah, I'd say they have to win both of them. Maybe if they win one, they could, like you say, tiebreak scenarios could potentially happen. But I think winning both may be enough. But even then, yeah, you never really know. It depends on a lot of these other teams. So Fnatic, a team with their new roster who have kind of yet to prove themselves as a top tier 1 team. They've had some good showings, have had some good outings, but they've also not always had their full 5. They're actually going to be playing with a stand-in once again today.
Yeah, Come With Me will be here in the place of Pos, who has been playing with them recently. Hani's drafting, and that gives them Matumba Man, Boogie, and Trixie, as well as CWM. The overlays for Starladder still outdated. Excalibur has not been playing with Fnatic really much at all, I guess. Maybe as a temporary stand-in here and there, but I haven't seen him play with Fnatic in any of the games that they've done in Starladder. Right now, Fnatic are 3-1, so like you said, they still have a lot of games to go, but they're off to a decent start for what that's worth.
Dude, Hani just don't give a shit. He just drafts what he wants.
It's true. I mean, we talked to him yesterday in the studio for our 6.82 patch analysis, and you know, he admitted he's a little bit demotivated right now in Dota just in general, and you're on this patch where you know the new patch is coming out real soon. He's like, it's hard to really give a shit about this meta. And first pick Venomancer Rubik, and right there with Ogre McGee.
Yeah, and now you're going to be up against Draw Visage. So
yeah,
I think it's a draw. I don't know for sure. But I mean, it's Cloud9, so you get the Visage. 9 times out of 10, they're going for the Draw Visage. It does give them Dro, Razor, and Nature's Prophet as their 3 cores, which are all very single target focused, and they don't have much against like a Fnatic kind of 5-man push, which is what Bristleback, Veno, Ogre kind of does. So
yeah,
it's a little scary picking a Draw Ranger here just because of what Fnatic have gone for, but we'll see.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Ogre is one of the heroes that came up in the 6.82 discussion yesterday. As he got a series of buffs coming up in this patch. One of them is that 2x cast, really upping the frequency that it happens, even with that first point in multicast. And most of the players are pretty eager to say that Ogre is not as bad as a lot of people give him credit for in 6.81. He has kind of a bad rap because he doesn't get picked that often, but he's damn strong. He's one of the highest effective HP heroes in the game out of the gate at level 1. So they will settle on the Drow, but Fnatic have some pretty serious early game aggression that they can bring out.
Yeah, it wasn't like a insta-pick Draw Ranger after the Visage. So Cloud9 did reconsider it after seeing the Bristleback pick. At least it seems that way based on how long they took to take the Draw Ranger. But this is, I mean, Cloud9 definitely drafting to their strengths. And I mean, you kind of said, Hani with the Veno Rubik, this is not an opening 2 picks any other team would do, or any team really. Like, this is just not really a strong opener as far as drafts goes. Venomancer very much a Fnatic pick. They love their Venomancer, even going back to their old roster. They were picking Venomancer more than any other team, but picking that with Rubik as your opening 2 is just not a strong duo. So
yeah, especially
Fnatic
given
either have something planned or
well, there you go. Another very aggressive early game hero. Another one with very high effective HP in the early levels. I'm mostly surprised to see Death Prophet make it to a 4th ban. That just shows how different Hani is doing things here, valuing these 2 supports over the DP. Well, it might be a core Veno with a support Ogre, but still, DP's been that first pick, first ban hero in like almost every game that you and I have cast together in the last week of Starladder.
Yeah, I think Hani just kind of deciding coming into this draft that he wants to go for something super gank and a early game focused against Cloud9, and he's just going to stick to his guns, go for something where he feels maybe his his team is strongest, even if it isn't the heroes that are all flavor of the month or like considered to be the strongest of this patch. So
This is
Night Stalker's always fun to watch, though.
Yeah, he's a fun hero, and all of these heroes on Fnatic I see as very snowbally. And if they get off to a good start, we've got some lane dominators here. Maybe they can just kind of take a victory in every lane, use that momentum to knock down some early tier 1 towers, and just really get crazy before the Drow and the Ranger. The Drow and the Razor really get out of control. All those heroes on Cloud9 do need kind of a baseline of farm before they really shine in the terms of team fights and early skirmishes.
Yeah, so we'll see. For Cloud9, it's going to be so much about avoiding those early ganks. If Fnatic, like you say, these heroes want to snowball. If they don't get the kills, these heroes aren't going to snowball just by getting farm. They're not going to push down towers all that fast either. Venomancer can definitely push with his Plague Wards around the level 7 mark, and Bristleback can be a nice kind of pushing hero in his own right, but it's not a lineup that's going to just take tower after tower in quick succession without getting a lot of kills along the way.
Yeah, not really. Venomancer's not really known for his flash pushing either. It's not like they can win a team fight and then just do a quick tier 1, tier 2 right down the middle. But I do like the idea of Bloodlust from the Ogre on top of the Night Stalker. That first night, that opens up some pretty serious potential for Matumba Man to be cruising around and just wreaking havoc on this relatively squishy Cloud9 lineup.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good lockdown as well for Night Stalker. I think partly why Night Stalker really fell off, and just from some of my experience recently with the hero, is that he gets burst down and chain stun. And just he kind of melts even at nighttime. If you get him with a couple of stuns, this hero will actually, even at nighttime, be kind of underwhelming. So the fact they have an Ogre with a Bloodlust, they've got Bristleback who can kind of just take up a lot of the damage, maybe go for the fast mech or the Venomancer the fast mech. These kind of heroes can, I think, fit quite nicely around the Night Stalker pick.
Yeah, agreed. So both teams will be headed to the bottom lane. Cloud9 ready to defend their jungle, and Fnatic eager to get down there and drop down some boards. Hani boots first on the Ogre. He's cruising, and he's got a couple of observers he wants to get down before they can scout him out. He's picking out this little lip on the river here, and he does manage to get the ward down. No vision of the bottom rune, but some great vision into this entryway here, and Cloud9 will not scout it out. So small victory for Fnatic out of the gate as they win the race down to the lane. And actually, I don't see any sentries on the side of Cloud9, so they were just going to try to contest that and have absolutely no counter wards of their own.
Yeah, it looks like
30 seconds
the Treants were kind of moving out to maybe try and scout out where the ward went, and then from there they could pick up sentry wards. I think AUI is holding on to a lot of gold here. He's sitting on 150, so he could buy sentry wards very early on, but I don't think he minds this ward because he's going to have his pull camp. That's the main thing. They want to make sure with a Visage who's very level and also farm dependent, they want to just have the pull camp available, which AUI does. So they'll not be too concerned about this ward down in the bottom lane.
Yep. Well, let's introduce some lanes and positions here. On the Dire side, we'll have Fnatic. Boogie will be in the off lane. On the Bristleback, up top, they'll have Trixie on the solo safe lane Venomancer, and they'll do a mid-tri lane, of all things, at least to get it started. Matumba Man on the Night Stalker.
Whoa.
Come with me on the Rubik, and Hani will be here on the Ogre. And they will smoke up straight away. Fire Blast already leveled up, and they're off to some early aggression.
Double boots. They both have boots on the supports. They're all about ganking right now.
Yeah.
Problem is, Matumba Man did not get off a good block.
Oh, here we go. Fada, though, he gets a little bit aggressive. Telekinesis to start things off. There's your Fire Blast. They'll try and block him in. The Venge is there, connects with a Scream, and they just simply don't have the damage to secure a kill right out of the gate. But, well, Matumba Man will get a little bit of lane control back here at the very least.
That's a smoke as well. Once he starts the static link, it's kind of like they've got to wait for Razor to go in, which he will with the static link, but then Night Stalker has no right-click damage, which they needed for the kill. But, hey, they'll swing top lane, and Bone 7 actually may be out too deep here.
Yeah, he does pick up a TP scroll. Still only level 1, so just Treant. Hani will come in, connects with the Fire Blast. Come with me's here, ready to telekinesis to interrupt the TP scroll, and it won't be the first blood. They'll find the kill, but Bristleback, he falls down bottom while we're watching that, and it's Aoi 2000 that actually gets the bonus gold.
Yeah, that... I didn't see what happened at bottom lane. That...
Yeah.
Bristleback died to no Frost Arrows and no Magic Missile, because Venge went Howl level 1. So
yeah.
even without Frost Arrows or Magic Missile, he still gave up the first blood. So Boogie definitely making a bit of a misplay there.
Yeah, definitely. On the side of Cloud9, with pretty predictable lanes and hero, but we've got Bone 7 on the Nature's Prophet. Fada will be on the mid Razor. Envy, of course, on the Dro Ranger. Aoi 2000 on his signature Visage. And Pylai Dai here on the Vengeful Spirit. So great news for Cloud9, getting that bonus gold. And Dro Ranger off to a nice start here in terms of farm. 10-2 in CS, doing quite well, topping the charts. Once more, the Fnatic supports will smoke up, and they're both still level 1. And they'll try for mid again, but not really the best lane positioning as Matumba Man kind of shoves into the tower.
Yeah, the creep block mid at level 1 making a big difference here. One of those things which is incredibly important, something that a lot of players maybe don't realize is just how important the creep block, especially not just mid lane, but all lanes can be. But Fnatic is so all in with their supports just constantly roaming here, and this smoke gank, I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, Telekinesis back. Fire Blast is there, but it's still daytime. Fada taking a lot of damage. They'll actually find the kill this time, but now the turnaround. Pylai Dai TP's in. They'll finish off the Night Stalker, and Hani not out of the clear yet. Pylai Dai with a clarity on. Won't have Magic Missile for quite some while, and yeah, big tubby Ogre here will make it out, and it'll be a 1-for-1 trade. Razor for Night Stalker, both sides losing their mid.
Yeah. I thought Razor would maybe be a tankier there, but I guess just enough damage to bring him down. The Venge maybe TPing like a second too late to save him there, but
yeah,
it's still Fnatic getting a kill. Sure, they trade a support for a core, which sounds good, but I don't think the trades overall are good. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Boogie barely survives a gank.
Yeah, good TP from Hani with a stun on Envy, so he can't stack up those Frost Arrows. But a close call as Boogie's really struggling in this offlane. He's now found his level 2, but 0 last hits. And that's sort of a similar story for the dire supports that are not really finding much in the way of farm from all this rotating. And meanwhile, Aoi has just been hanging out in the jungle, creep pulling, and now halfway through level 3. So Cloud9 just having a more efficient laning phase, at least so far.
And Envy's going to be all about the Wraith Bands, apparently. He picks up 2 slippers from the side shop. He's stacking agility, and this obviously kind of works nicely with the precision aura, but I think he sees Fnatic, their lineup, and how aggressive they're going to be, and just wants the most cost-effective early game stats and damage, because there's going to be a lot of fighting early on. So
yeah,
mashing Wraith Bands against that kind of a strategy, definitely very viable.
Yeah. Warranted here based on the little bit of aggression we've seen out of the first 4 minutes, and I'm facetious with that usage of the word little. It's been quite aggressive from Fnatic, and I don't see any reason why it will slow down anytime soon. We're here in the first night. Matumba Man is level 5, finds an invisibility rune at the 4-minute mark, puts it in the bottle, and he heads straight down bottom. 3-0-2, so has some value points in Hunter in the night, and ready to use that Void to much avail, as they'll be eager to dive these towers down bottom. Ogre does not have a point in Bloodlust, not quite yet. He's only level 2, so needs that first point in Ignite. But now that the creep's moving into the tower, it's a 4v3, and they'll go straight for it. Aoi 2000 taking a lot of damage out of the gate. He'll get telekinesed. Pylai Dai taking a lot of damage as well. The Razor will TP in. Venge is the first to go down, but now Matumba Man stuck inside of the Sprout, taking tower shots. He'll fall, and they'll lose the Ogre. It's not what Fnatic bargained for. It's already a 1-for-2, and Boogie not even close to out of the clear. Only level 3. No points in the Bristleback ability. The Sprout will fly through, trap him in, give him the vision they need. And it's a 1-for-3 trade. Cloud9 with a big rotation, but it proves successful.
Yeah, Cloud9 was so ready for that Night Stalker rotation down bottom lane. The Razor having a TP. Like, they already have 3 heroes down there. You could just have Nature's Prophet TP him, but I think with the Nature's Prophet TP, you maybe trade 1-for-1. But with the Razor as well, that really tips the scales, and Fnatic not even going to get that much damage done to the top tier 1 tower. Do get it down to about half HP, but it's the problem you said earlier in the draft. Veno not a flash pusher. He gets an empty lane, while Cloud9 bring 5 heroes bottom, but he can't fully bring down the tier 1 tower like a lot of other pushing heroes could have.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Fnatic are in a little bit of trouble. Just look at the raw CS difference in the mid lane. I think that's the most glaring disparity here. 13 last hits on Matumba Man, 29 on the Razor, and that doesn't even factor in Envy, who's the leading farmer now by a pretty good margin, 5 up on the Veno, who's had a lot of space this game. Now we'll see Fada and Matumba Man kind of juke it out here in the mid lane, and Fada will get turned around on as the supports come in. Telekinesis as well as the Fire Blast is there. Rubik will fall in one of the side lanes, but they will lose their Razor. Now Trixie in the top will get initiated on by Bone 7, and uh-oh, I'm seeing some lag here. I don't know if that was our internet or the game, but yeah, they'll lose Trixie.
Yeah, I think it was maybe just on your end, but that That was not good. Razor almost gets like a double kill before he goes down there. So he does end up dying to the 3 heroes, getting just a support for his life. But
yeah,
he's getting more than enough done here as far as just distracting the supports, keeping them busy. And the Rubik and Ogre Magi, they are getting some levels now after a couple of kills, but still feels like they're going to fall off very quickly.
Yeah, and there is still a disparity. I mean, if you hit the level chart, the bottom 3 are all on the Dire side. The off laner tied with the supports right now, and Cloud9 just in a much better position on that front. Night Stalker finds his level 6 and goes for a 3-0-3 build, so wants to be very aggressive during these night times. Well, is this the kind of standard Night Stalker build? I don't see him enough to have a good handle on what the standard is.
Yes. You don't normally get your ultimate until, like, this next data, like level 8, level 9, I think. So I think often you'll see 1 point in crippling fear, like go for a 4-1-2 build.
Yeah, the value silence.
Yeah.
They'll going on to Envy here. Matumba Man starts it off. They've got a Fire Blast, and this should yield a kill on the Drow Ranger. Yeah, they'll bring her down, and now they'll dive this tower down bottom. Night is soon to expire, so Matumba Man will have to do as much damage as he can very quickly here, but the ultimate from Nature's Prophet flying through. Boogie will fall as he tries to retreat. Fada sealing the exit, and that'll find 2 kills for him. Now Matumba Man on the run, but Night, oh man, it's going to slow him down quite a bit. Rubik will fall as well, and again, not a good trade for Fnatic. A 2 for 3, and the Night Stalker just barely makes it out. Benno still trying to do some damage to that tower up top, but doesn't really have much of an opportunity to push it as both Fada and Eternal Envy come to its defense and clear up this big wave that's pushing forward.
Yeah, it's the kind of plays Night Stalkers have to make. Like, you want to be getting these kills, and the good news is for Fnatic, Night Stalkers survives that one. So he gets the kills, he gets out, and now he can kind of go back to this farming status, which is he's going to have to do because it's now daytime once again. But the numbers trades they're getting are just not particularly good, and they're not really killing off 4 heroes enough, it feels like.
Fada denies the invisibility rune. Now Matumba Man in more than a lot of trouble as Bone 7 TP's in and actually snipes the last hit, but now they'll just try to turn it into a push. Meanwhile, in the top lane, 2 supports rotate to join Trixie, and they will find a kill on Eternal Envy's Drow Ranger. Maybe Cloud9 will just trade a 1-for-1. Glyph is available on both sides as they move into the Tier 1 mid. And Dire Glyph comes out right away, and instead of pushing, they'll look to rotate mid. Maybe a bit of indecision here as they head back towards the Tier 1 tower top. But now Cloud9 have the pushing advantage. Fada will even dive the tower and kind of man up onto Boogie. Steals a decent amount of damage. Last hits the tower. They'll Glyph, and will Cloud9 TP up to make the defense? Nope, doesn't look like it. They will just let it fall, and it will be a tower for tower exchange to get structure kills started.
Yeah. And, yeah, I think by the time Cloud9 got the Tier 1 mid, it was too late to defend top. Fighting into already established, like, 5 or 6 Plague Lords is going to be bad. Good news is Fnatic, they've now got a mech, I believe, on Trixie. He's got the ring, and, yeah, he's got the rest of the pieces on the courier. So they need to get him involved in these fights and try and use the fact that they've got a mech and Cloud9 don't to their advantage.
Yeah, definitely. And just looking at the raw net worth, it's all about that Venomancer. The top 5 are 4 members of Cloud9. Veno, the only one that's farming decently well. Matumba Man starting to recover a little bit, has found his power treads, but still not even close to where he wants to be. Bristleback, 1,200 gold, maybe looking to pick up an item soon, but down bottom, another swap out onto Trixie. Burns the Poison Nova right away. Bone 7 TPs forward, and they'll start to track him down as the familiars fly through. Meanwhile, Bone 7 turns to the lane, connects with a Sprout, and they'll just bring down the Prophet. Bone 7 goes man mode with the triple null tally. Blade Mail stands his ground still. It will cost him his life, but creates some space for the rest of his team to come in. Fada flying through will end up going down as the Bristleback just dropping the hammer. And this time Fnatic find the exchange they were looking for and get a 1-for-2.
Yeah, they get the good trade. They also only lose a support Rubik, so Envy's getting some space at top lane. May get a Tier 1 tower out of this, but I think even so, Fnatic are going to be very happy for that kind of a fight.
And it has been scouted out, but Bristleback will start moving into this huge stack of Dire Ancients. Looks like at least a quad stack here. 2 sets of Golems, some Lizards, and a set of Drakes. It was scouted out by the familiar, so I reckon Cloud9 may want to try to contest it if possible. Maybe even just have Ali snipe some last hits where he can. But meanwhile, in the top lane, Bone 7 will rotate up. He'll go on to Come With Me, forces a couple of TPs through. And Matumba Man will jump right onto Bone 7. He'll take a Fade Bolt to the face. Familiar's flying through to try to create some space for him. He has his Blade Mail on, but the tower not helping him out much. And it will be the end of the Nature's Prophet as Bone 7 gets a bit hyper-aggressive.
Yeah, I think maybe maybe they realized what Fnatic were doing at the Ancients and thought they could get away with a dive on a Rubik, but good counterplay from Fnatic with reading what was going on there. Leap Bristleback to his Ancient and get the counter kills, but they do open up this tier 1 bottom tower for Cloud9 to take.
Yeah, and it certainly will go down. Last hit goes the way of Pylai Dai's Vengeful Spirit, and they will continue to move forward just into the Ancients. And they'll see just a couple here, basically a stack and a Drake that they'll take out.
It's the good ones, though.
Yeah, Fada's got his ultimate on. Yeah, it's true. It's the big ones, so they'll get a nice little cleanup here. Bristleback still got the bulk of it, though, and did give him a nice little bit of recovery. Now Fnatic will press forward. Come with me, actually, in the front lines is Boogie now trying to find Aoi 2000. He'll move into the tree line, will TP out. Boogie almost goes down, as now the rest of Cloud9 on the back foot. Vengeful Spirit will get stunned up, slowed by the Ogre. Plague Wards flying through to try and slow them down even much more so. Radiant Courier flies overhead. Will live, but in kind of an odd position here. They could end up losing their Courier. Speed boost won't be enough. It was empty, but still Rubik finds the last hit. Fada goes to TP out. That won't happen either as a Fade Bolt finishes him off. And Fnatic with a huge sign of life find a Courier and a couple of kills. But again, it does create some space for the top tower to go down, and Bone 7 will finish it off, making it 3-1 in total tower count, favoring Cloud9.
Yeah, it's one of those games where Fnatic have got to get so many kills to make up for the farm advantage that Cloud9 are getting, though. They've got such better just farming heroes that just farm a lot more efficiently. They're pushing towers all over the map, so even when they give up a couple kills on one side of the map, they're suddenly pushing a tower in the bottom in another lane. This time around, it was Bone 7 at top. Previous, it was Bone 7 dying top, and they took the tier 1 bottom, so even when it looks like Fnatic getting some good trades as far as kills goes, Cloud9 is still being as efficient as possible. They got 2 towers top for a couple kills in a Roshan, which is actually not too bad when you're on the Radiant side. It's pretty hard to always contest that first early Roshan, so I think Cloud9's still in a pretty comfortable lead, right, for the time being at least.
Yeah, and that's part of that power of that Drow Visage, using the aura right as they committed to the tower up top. Familiars are up there helping Bone 7 with the push, and ends up being a pretty easy tower kill as he just moves into the Ancients and resumes the farming. So glancing at the graphs here, Cloud9 holding on to their 5,000 gold lead, a lot of that coming from the tower gold, but it is Fnatic that have now taken the experience edge from that successful team fight, and now Roshan does just put them about 2,000 in the favor on that front. In terms of item progression now, still no mech on the Radiant side. We've seen all of Bone 7 items. Fada will just move right into an Aghanim Scepter. No mech for him, and Matumba Man in kind of an awkward spot. It is nighttime, so he is okay for now. And he won't get sandwiched, and now it's actually Fnatic who are on the aggressive, as Cloud9 just retreat to their tower in the mid.
Yeah. Bristleback all the way at top lane, and Venomancer at the bottom tier 1, so I don't think they may want to try and find a pick-off, but they also want to make sure they don't take a big team fight without their mech there, and even without the Bristleback could be a bit risky, but it looks like they're just going to position themselves to take this tier 1 tower, which Cloud9, well, they say we'll take a bigger fish. We'll take the tier 2 tower if you're going to overcommit to this tier 1 bottom, but Fnatic already assembling the defenses.
Yeah, Radiant do use their glyph to force the Venomancer to hang around a little bit longer, doing a lot of damage to the tier 2 mid, but they can't bring it down quite yet. Fada gets silenced by Matumba Man out of the gate, but takes a lot of damage. Bone 7's ultimate flies through and brings him pretty low. Mech will heal him back up, but Fada's right there with a maxed out plasma field, and that'll be the end of him. The Aegis has already been expended. They'll get a kill on to Come With Me as Bone 7 in the front line, rather tanky, but won't be able to live at the end of it. They'll still be pretty happy to trade their Nature's Prophet for an Aegis, a kill on the Rubik, and a tower kill, which was finished off by the Radiant, not denied.
Yeah. They lost their familiars too, but it's all small things for Cloud9. They're getting objectives, which is much bigger. They're getting map control, and Fnatic, sure, they get a kill here or there, but they need much more out of this. They need to win teamfights convincingly. They need to get towers of their own, and so far, just the 2 tier 1 towers just haven't really been enough. And I like this smoke. They realize, hey, look, we need to go from this kill to the next and try and get a tower to follow that. Let's go for this smoke gank and get some wards deep into the enemy jungle to try and help our lineup progress into the mid game.
Yeah, smoke rotation won't yield a hell of a lot as all of the Cloud9 heroes are on the complete other quadrant of the map. Nightstalker now moves into a vitality booster, so I wonder if this will end up being a Rod of Athos on the Nightstalker.
Vanguard maybe? Okay, he goes for the Vanguard.
Okay, he picks up the Vanguard. I was going to say, I thought he would have picked it up a little earlier if he was going to go for it, but Settles on a later Vanguard in the top lane. Rubik will get picked off once more as Pylai connects with a stun. He's also hasted up, so making it a little bit easier. But okay, so 16-minute Vanguard on Night Stalker. What are your thoughts here, Parker?
Yeah, I mean, you mostly want the HP, which the Vitality Booster gives you. I feel like it's... I'm gonna pull a Merlini and say this is a dubious Vanguard, although he may have said something even harsher than that. So
yeah. Well,
I think it's an okay item. It's not terrible, but I think against this kind of Cloud9 draft, maybe just going straight into the BKB would have been a bit better.
Yeah, and just a casual Vitality Booster for some extra HP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it works out. Speaking of Rod of Atos, is that what Owie's working on? It sure is. The Rod of Owie lives true as the double Staff of Wizardry is on its way out to complete his first item of the game following the Medallion. Razor pretty darn close to his Aghanim Scepter, about 500 gold away. Blade of Alacrity and Staff of Wizardry, but soon pickups for him. Venomancer going for the Aghanim Scepter of his own, which really buffs up that Poison Nova damage, which makes me want to say that I think Cloud9 may be well advised to invest in a pipe. We will see Bone7 get very aggressive here as he teleports forward. They'll try and isolate Trixie. He'll take a Bloodlust, and that little bit of movement speed might be enough to ensure his survival. No, not quite. Nature's Prophet will still be able to bring him down. Meanwhile, in the top lane, the Night Stalker falls against the Wrath of the Visage and the Drow Ranger. So Cloud9 finding a couple of kills across the map as now Envy TP's mid, goes in onto the Bristleback. He has picked up the Blade Mail and will just TP home to survive. Bone7 goes to the high ground, gets telekinesis back, and come with me. Will get left behind as Fada connects with a essentially max damage plasma field.
Yikes, yeah. Not often you see AUI go for the Atos before the Ag Scepter, and especially with the Drow on the team. This is going to be one of the first times he's done that, but I think just recognizing how good the Rod will be against Bristleback and Night Stalker to slow down the Fnatic aggression, or just it kind of really cripples these heroes in a team fight as well. So I kind of like the deviation from the standard Visage build coming out of AUI here, deciding that the Rod's going to do a bit more against these heroes.
Yeah. And now Cloud9 just in a fantastic position, as we've pointed out a few times, just maintaining their more efficient farm around the map. And these skirmishes have been fairly even. The last one went the way of Cloud9, but Fnatic have been finding kills and pickoffs, but Owie's constantly moving around, finding places to farm in the dire jungle right now. Cloud9 clearing out their own jungle, pushing out the lanes, and there you go. Nature's Prophet headed up to the dire jungle as well. So just looking at the graph over the last few minutes, now a 10,000 net worth lead and almost 4,000 experience. It's switched all the way in favor of Cloud9 by a pretty big margin, now giving Razor his Aghanim Scepter and some more of these core items. Pylai even close to a mech. He's about a third of the way to the recipe, but has the headdress and buckler in tow. Yeah, and Fnatic just don't have that big hero that's going to come online soon. Like all their heroes have kind of already reached or passed their peak. Bristleback is probably about there just now. Venomancer is going to get there with the Ag Scepter, but Night Stalker's already starting to drop off, it feels like. He had this period where he was doing a lot, getting lots of ganks going, but now that he's gone for this Vanguard, he doesn't have that window where he's going to get a new big item like the BKB, which makes him a lot stronger. Yeah. So it feels like Fnatic, it's going to maybe be just kind of downhill from here, because Cloud9 can get these much bigger items, push all over the map, and Fnatic just aren't going to have that same just added strength coming their way from key item pickups or key levels even. Like the Venomancer really the only hero with any sort of farm on the Fnatic side. Yeah, and Eternal Envy just going for some more great mid-game items, as we've talked about. The triple Wraith Band to give him some extra stats early on. Moves into a Sanjin Yasha, a fabulous item at this stage in the game. Gives you just a little bit of everything, some extra damage, some extra movement speed, and some much-needed strength. So 1,300 hit points on the level 12 Drow. Not too shabby, and now we'll just move into his Blink Dagger. So has a little bit more mobility, and he's really starting to get pretty scary. Number 2 on net worth, but not by much. Tangoing with the Venomancer, and there isn't too much slowing down Envy's farm at this point. Yeah. The solo smoke on himself. Wondering if he's maybe going to try sneak us a Roshan. When he can. It hasn't respawned just yet, but Joe, one of the heroes who's really good at soloing Rosh. Even without lifesteal, you can just use the Frost Arrows to kind of kite Roshan back and forth. And he'll blink forward to show off his new pickup onto Matumba Man. He'll just try to TP out as Bone7 comes in. They won't have the damage to bring him down, but just showing where the Night Stalker stands in the state of this game right now. He just gets initiated on, and even with the Vanguard, sure, he's kind of tanky, but there's nothing he can do other than just TP home and make the great escape.
Yeah.
We're about to see how long of a Roche respawn it'll be, and it's a pretty lengthy one, about 2.5 minutes past the initial timer.
Oh, Boogie, he's not going to get found. He was really low.
Yeah, close call there. A lot of enemies inbound, but Fada has his ultimate coming up with a double damage rune. Looks like Cloud9 will use this opportunity to grab perhaps another tower kill here, the tier 2 in the bottom.
Yeah, and maybe Fnatic going to feel pressured to make a defense, but I don't know. Yeah, the tower melts.
Has fallen.
It's the power of the aura, the familiars, and I believe there's a Necro book out. Yep, a level 3 Necro book on the Nature's Prophet. So plenty of summons that feel the benefits and will do some damage here. Trixie has his Aghanim Scepter, does use the Poison Nova, so a lot of damage will come out onto Envy here. He'll stand his ground and bring down the Venomancer. Mech is used. And now Come With Me flies through. Envy is in deny range. He won't get denied. Veno gets credit for the kill. That makes it a 1-for-1. They'll go on to Come With Me. He'll get swapped, and he'll go down, as will Boogie in the bottom lane as another fight is breaking out. Fada and Bone 7 get a double kill, both secured by the Nature's Prophet. And across the map, it's a 1-for-4 trade. And now Fnatic's base in pretty big trouble.
Yeah. Pushes coming from multiple lanes here. You've got Razor bottom lane. You've got 3 lanes now. Prophet TP's top, so it's a 3-pronged attack. This is where your drone needs to like buy back and pop precision aura to help the push, but Envy not going to do that just now. But even so, this is looking rough for Fnatic.
Yep. And Roche will be coming up in a minute's time, so if another fight breaks out and Cloud9 become victorious, they may be able to claim a Roche upon their retreat, but it doesn't look like that'll be the case. They'll be happy just to do a lot of damage to the tier 3 towers, secure one of them, and just back out to safety as Fnatic do start respawning. And just glancing at the graphs, telling the story that we've been reiterating, 14,000 gold, 7,500 experience in favor of Cloud9 as Envy pings out his Smoke of Deceit, and oh no, he drops it. Okay, he's going to give it over to one of the supports. But, yeah, looks like he'll move into a Mithril Hammer, probably a BKB, and they will smoke up and head towards the bottom rune spawn, a.k.a. the Roche Pit, and he'll be coming up in just a couple seconds.
Yeah, they might get there. Oh, may check too early and miss the respawn.
Oh,
is he going to wait around?
Find Eternal Envy. Oh, Boogie, he'll get silenced, taking a lot of damage. Fada gets a 2x multicast, but he's just a little bit too tanky. Come With Me on the high ground now, completely isolated in the tree line. It'll be an easy 2-for-0. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, Bone 7 squaring off against Trixie. His ultimate coming up in just a couple of seconds. He will survive to see it. A 2x Bloodlust onto Matumba Man, but it will cost Hani his life. The Venomancer just TP's home, and Matumba Man, he might not make it out, but it just doesn't matter. Fnatic GG, and I don't think it's coming a moment too soon. It's a 4-for-0 outside of the Roche Pit. And Cloud9 probably could have just killed the base right after that had the game continued.
Yeah, Fnatic lineup very much was like, let's get kills, snowball from there, and just really play this very gank-oriented style of play. And the first few smoke ganks towards mid lane, the first one didn't work. The second one, they trade like a support for the Razor. From the get-go, the supports weren't finding the kills, and when both your supports go boots first on Hani and Come With Me with the Rubik Ogre Magi, and you're not getting those kills, that's where you really start to fall off. So just not enough kills were found with the 2 supports, and the Night Stalker in the first night was decently effective, but just not quite enough for Fnatic to turn the game around.
Yep, certainly. So we will have one more game of Starladder EU coming up. That was a pretty quick one, so it'll be about a 30-minute break, and then we'll have Cloud9 versus Secret. As we mentioned, this is the day of survival for Cloud9. They're going to round out their group stage. Both of these games resulting in a win will be good news for Cloud9 in terms of having a chance at the top 4. They've already won one, and now we'll see how they fare against Secret. So stick with us, guys. We'll have one more game of Starladder EU coming up. Then after that, Starladder America will resume straight away.